One of the most instantly recognisable symbols of Christmas today is the Christmas tree, covered in fairy lights and baubles. But actually it's a comparatively recent visitor to these shores. Until the middle of the 19th century, it was almost exclusively a German custom, although it was an Englishman who invented it. In the 8th century, St. Boniface set out to convert the German pagans. Much to his disgust, he found them worshipping a sacred oak tree with human sacrifices under it. The guidebook hadn't said anything about that. And so one Christmas Eve, St. Boniface took matters into his own hands, as men of strong religious convictions often do, and he picked up an axe and chopped down the idolatrous oak. In its place, a little fir tree miraculously sprang up. This, St. Boniface told the astonished heathens, was the power of his faith in action. What's more, the fir tree represented the 3 points of the Holy Trinity: the Father, the Son and the Holy Ghost. It's not a particularly convincing argument, but it was good enough for the 8th century Germans. According to tradition, the first person to decorate the Christmas tree with candles was Martin Luther. He thought they'd remind children of the blazing stars in the heavens which Jesus had descended from. Candles on Christmas trees were, as you might imagine, a notorious fire risk until electric fairy lights arrived. The Christmas tree first came to Britain when the German Hanoverians assumed the throne. Queen Charlotte had one in the early 1800s, but the widespread unpopularity of her husband, George III, the mad one, led the British public to turn their noses up at it. Unlike the British to be suspicious of a European innovation, isn't it? But then, Queen Victoria's husband, Prince Albert, set up a tree in Windsor Castle in 1840. And the royal couple was so popular that the Christmas tree started to catch on. Although in 1850, Dickens was still calling it a pretty German toy. It soon became the fashion for presents to be left under the branches of the tree, to be opened on Christmas morning, afternoon or evening, depending on family tradition. But there is a sinister side to this custom. Presents, according to some scholars, may originally have been symbols of the human sacrifices that were once part of the midwinter festivals. And we think we've got it tough just getting the fairy lights to work. Good night.